Good afternoon, everyone. It's good to see this great big crowd. We really appreciate y'all coming out. We've got a sheet to sign up if any one of you want to sign up for public comments. Okay, we'll start off with Union County Education Association. Ms. Murray.
First of all, I see that you all are being thanked. That's always good to be, sorry, forgot to turn that off. I see that you're all being thanked. It's always good to be thanked. And I do appreciate the effort that all of you put in with your personal time and effort to help the students of Union County. And along with that, I appreciate when it's really cold, going a little late, because you need to see that ice on the road and avoid it. And also, unfortunately, kids don't have big coats where they don't wear them. Big coats and gloves when it's really cold. And if you ever want to check out what kids have on, sometimes during early morning, pass some bus stops, and you'll be amazed on how they're dressed. They're not dressed for the weather that we have. And so I do appreciate that. And as someone who had a doctor's appointment today, I hope that you're working on getting money for insurance, because everybody's going to need some help with their insurance. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Murray. Okay, special recognition. Ms. Lauren.
All right, thank you all. And as you can see, by the look of our audience, we have a few people in groups to recognize tonight, so I'm really thankful for that. I hope you all enjoy the items that you see at your table. Of course, it is a school board recognition month, so that is from our schools and our students. So you'll have some special handcrafted gifts in there from some of our students, so really special. First, before we start going with our student awards, since it's School Board Appreciation Month, I could not think of a better time to present an award to one of our school board members who has been with us, elected in 2010. And if you do the math on that, the math's mathing, right? That's 16 years. Not too many people stick with us on the school board for 16 years. So that is a huge deal for us. So, Mr. Danny Wayne Collins, I want to present to you this award for sticking with us, and we hope you stick with us much longer. We greatly appreciate you and everything that you do for us.
Lauren, let me say a word here. I was on the board several years ago, and it takes a lot of dedication to be on there as long as Danny has been. And I told Lauren that I wanted to recognize him because he could have been doing a lot of different things other than coming out here once a month to a meeting. And, you know, we sometimes take that for granted. When I was off the school board, I didn't worry about what was going on with the school. And we've got people like Danny Wayne that has stuck with it and made hard decisions for our kids. And I really appreciate you, Danny.
Yes, we all really appreciate you. He is a great guy. All right, next up we have a special treat for you all. We have our 8th grade band students who are going to come and perform. If you all would like to go ahead and make your way. And their band teacher is Miss Hope Williams. Amazing job. Thank you all so very much for all that. And then, Miss Hope Williams, if I could have you come down here, I actually have some certificates for the students, and then I have something for Miss Williams as well. First of all, thank you all so much for coming. I know you all have been at school all day, so it's probably not something that you really wanted to do was to come back to school, but we really appreciate you all coming back and playing for us. It was amazing. I'm going to give Miss Williams all of your all certificates, and I would love if you all would stay just a few minutes, and I would like to get your all's picture out by the steps in just a couple of minutes. But if you'll stay right there for just a minute, I want to talk just for a second about Miss Williams, because I'm sure you all know how amazing she is, but I want to make sure that everybody in here does too. So Miss Williams wrote a grant, and it wasn't just any grant. It was a grant that took a lot of time, a lot of work, and probably some blood, sweat, and maybe a few tears. And it wasn't just a one and done. It was a grant that took, what, a year and a half?
Yeah,
Took quite a while. So a year and a half, maybe plus, to write a grant for her students currently and for years to come. So I just want to take a few highlights from Historic Union County. I think Dr. Kilgore wrote this, but it was a year and a half long effort. And she was able to secure the school a $40,000 grant. And that was for new musical instruments. And I want to tell you, a major component of the application process highlighted that approximately 98% of the band members, our current band members, were relying on school borrowed instruments and instruments that they had gotten to use from the high school. So with that, she was able to start working, collecting data, getting information. She realized that Horsemeyer Middle School was the only school in Tennessee listed for adoption on the foundation's campaign page, which set a fundraising goal of $17,000. After a year of anticipation, she checked the campaign status and was thrilled to see that that goal had been met. Once that goal was met, it allowed the foundation to provide the $40,000 worth of instruments. So the funding was provided by the Morgan Wallen Foundation, a partner of Mr. Holland's Opus, which chose to fund the campaign. So thank you to Miss Hope Williams' hard work. 22 brand new instruments will be coming to Horsemeyer Middle School. That will include 4 alto saxophones, a tuba, 5 clarinets, 4 trumpets, 4 flutes, and 4 trombones. So with that being said, this is the first time I've ever given this award out, and maybe the first time we've ever had this in Union County. But we are presenting the Grammy Music Educator Award to Miss Hope Williams for her commitment to music education for the students of Horsemeyer Middle School. Your hard work and determination has brought more than $40,000 worth of musical instruments for not only your current students, but future A2MS students as well. You are creating a musical legacy. Thank you.
Yeah, I just really want to thank you all. You all were my first class of sixth graders, so you've kind of been with me the whole time that I've learned how to function as a teacher. So I apologize for that. But thank you for sticking around even when it has been hard. And I appreciate your dedication to me and this program and everything that y'all do, even when, it's April and we've got 17 different things going on and y'all still show up for me. So I can't thank you enough for it. I hope that you know that I'm grateful for you, even when we're griping at each other in the band room. But I do love you all, and I appreciate everything that you do for me, so thank you.
And she can take you off the stage now. Thank you all so much. All right, next up we have a few more awards for Horse Mayer Middle School. We have some Beta Club winners. So first up, we have Jaden Battles. Jaden Battles, are you here? Come on down. He is our sixth grade spelling champion. And all of our Beta winners actually competed in Nashville at the state competition. Next up, we have Trey Lorianti, I knew I'd mess that up, Miller, sixth grade social studies and third place. Trey Lorianti Miller. I even practiced that. I knew I messed that up, Trey. All right, and last but not least, we have Savannah Lee, third place jewelry. And all of our Beta Club winners that you'll see tonight, they will also have the opportunity to compete. It's back in Nashville again this summer. If everybody will just stay with us for a few minutes after this is over, I'm going to get everybody's picture at the end. Also, the last thing for the middle school, it's never a fun thing to get on a state list, right? We never want to do that. It's never a fun thing. But I do want to celebrate the fact that Horse Mayer Middle School has worked extremely, extremely hard to get off of the ATSI list. And so I think that is something to be commended. That is remarkable. I know we have a couple of administrators in the room right now. So thank you all for that hard work because it does not go unnoticed. So we appreciate you all. I see y'all right there. Hey, we see y'all. Thank you all. So we're off the list and we appreciate that. Next up, the school that we have, Big Ridge Elementary School. We have some Beta Club winners. I don't know if we've got any in attendance except for one. Do we have Elijah Nicely, apparel design champion? Nope. Okay. Dalen Kitts, performing arts instrumentalist, fourth place. All right, Dalen. And last but not least, I told him I was going to embarrass him and do all the things, which I won't do. A kid I don't even know, he's not my son. Atlee Effler, fourth place for recyclable art. All right, guys, thank you all. All right, next up we have Luttrell Elementary, Beta Club winners. We have Corbin Wells, third place for on-site drawing. And Emma Hoskins, second place for elementary drawing. Okay. Moving right along. Sharps Chapel Elementary, we have some Beta Club winners there as well. Let's see here, we have Payson. Is it Payson Assad? Yes. Okay, second place painting. Princeton Collins, fifth place black and white photography. Harper Simpson, fourth place performing arts solo duo trio. And she received an invite as a premier performer to the National Ballet Convention. Great job, guys. Okay, you all can sit down. All right, also at Sharps Chapel, we have some recognition. If I could get the girls basketball team from Sharps Chapel to come up here. These girls were such a great team that you are looking at the county champions for the girls basketball team this year. So if we could just give them a big round of applause. And girls, when I call your name, you can come up here and get your county champion award. All right, let's see. Adelie's not here. Sage. Sully. Lily. Braylon. Harper. Natalie's not here. Rayleigh. Natalie's not here. All right, girls. All right, thank you all. Great job. And they were a fun group to watch. All right, next up, we're busting right through here, I know, because we've got a lot to go through. All right, next up we have Maynardville Elementary. Do I have any teachers, principals, admin, anybody from Maynardville Elementary? And if I do, come right on down. Come right on down. We are celebrating you right now. Please come right on down, Maynardville Elementary. I want y'all anywhere you want to go, right here next to this sign that we worked so hard to make right here. All right, do we have any students from Maynardville Elementary here tonight? We may not, but if we do, you come on down. Any students? And those students' families. If you feel like it, I'd love to have you come down. If you want to, you don't have to. I say you don't have to. But if you want to, you come on down too, because I tell you, it takes a group effort to get to where we are. We are celebrating Maynardville Elementary for being a TVOS Level 5 school. So if you're wondering what a TVOS Level 5 school is, right, because that's a lot of stuff, I've made it into a little paragraph for you. So in the state of Tennessee, a Level 5 school is the highest rating for student academic growth. Okay, so it's looking primarily at your growth under TVOS, which is the Tennessee Value Added Assessment System. So that indicates students are making significantly more progress than expected year over year. So it's not necessarily looking at proficiency, but it's looking to see at how they're growing to eventually hit that proficiency, right? So that's what we're looking at. So we are proud to celebrate you all as being a TVOS Level 5 school. So thank you all so much for your hard work. And somebody may take their sign with them, whoever wants to, just to the hallway, because we're going to get a picture. But then you can take it to your school. All right, next up, we have Union County High School. Do we have any Union County High School people here? Any teachers, any students' parents?
Hey, Jimmy, just let you know, on the school letter grades, we get gifts, so yeah, I knew you'd appreciate it.
Lance has already told me that he would like for me to tell everybody that they are also a B-level school and that they beat Gibbs. He would like that to be noted.
And Granger.
In Granger County. He would like those two things to be noted. So I'm sharing that.
No. We beat Campbell County, Anderson County, who else? I can't.
Really, they beat their surrounding counties. That's what they want you to know. But we are celebrating Union County High School being a TBOS Level 5 school. And again, what that means is they are making growth leaps and bounds faster than the year to year. So extremely proud of them and all their hard work. So thank you all. All right, let's see, back to some kids. We have some TCAP perfect scores, which is almost unheard of. So first we have from Paulette Elementary School, Bryce Mason for getting a perfect score on the 3rd grade science TCAP. From Paulette Elementary School, we have Nathan Inkelbarger for 3rd grade math. And from Paulette Elementary School, we have Lydia Price for 3rd grade math. All right, we have some more Paulette friends, so you all just stay up here for a minute, okay? Because we have some more Paulette friends that are going to get some awards. We also have some Beta recognition to give for some Paulette students, so I'd like to go ahead and do that. Paulette Beta Awards received some club awards. So they were the School of Merit, a School of Distinction, a 2025 MVP Service School, Summer Carr and Jennifer Duff. Are you all here? Oh, yeah. Come on down, They are the Educator of Excellence Awards for them. And we have some state convention awards. So 2nd place for digital portfolio is Brayley Johnson. Fourth place for robotics, we have a group, Grayson Luther, Bryce Mason, Mac Coram, Jackson Boucher, Easton Havens, and Nathan Inkelbarger. And premier performer, we have Millie Richardson. also had some national convention from the summer of 2025. They had sixth place for digital portfolio and first place for beta surge. So that is huge. Thank you all. I want y'all to stay right here. I was going to try to pull a joke and act like we were finished, but I thought Missy would come over here and get me because I see her eyeing me. So I'm just kidding. We're not finished. We actually have a big prestigious award to give out. So if I could have all of our PES Panthers come up here, that would be great. All right, if I have any more Paulette kiddos, if I have any more Paulette families, Paulette faculty and staff, anybody else that would like to come over here, we'd love to have you. It's definitely a group effort. And if you are asking, what are we celebrating Paulette for that is so prestigious? Paulette is a reward school. A reward school is huge. It is your highest honor. You strive to be a reward school. And so I want to read just a couple of sentences about what a reward school is. Being a reward school in Tennessee means a school is among the state's highest performing, recognized for exceptional academic achievement, significant student growth across all groups, closing achievement gaps, and meeting high standards in areas like attendance, English proficiency, and college and career readiness, signifying a top-tier learning environment. And all of that sums up Paulette Elementary School. So thank you all so much for the work that you have done. I love you so much and miss your remember time. All right, last but not least, I did have a ton of beta kids come up here. And if you are a beta sponsor, and please just come up here for a second if we have any beta sponsors. Miss Eagle, did I see Miss Eagle in attendance a second ago? Is she still here by chance? If we have any beta sponsors here. Yeah, you come up here. Yeah. If you are a beta sponsor, come up here. The work that goes into getting kids ready for Beta Club is an extensive amount of time that these ladies have put in, not just to get ready for a couple of days to go to convention, but it is more than a year long. They are already working to get ready for next year. And so with that being said, I want to give them the ultimate thank you book by Elephant and Piggy, which talks about two friends who are constantly working together to build each other up and thanking them for the work they do. So thank you all for the work that you do for our kids that you do not have to do and choose to do it. Thank you all so much. All right, everybody, if you will please head out that way. We are going to take pictures. You can take your stuff with you if you like. Parents, we'd like to get your pictures with your kiddos and all the things. If you want to come back in here, that is fine, but we'd like to get some photos.
Lauren, while they're leaving, I want to thank you for what you do.
Thank you. I'll echo that. Thank you so much.
Okay, the next item is PLN update.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I passed out some updates for the board. I do have extra copies if anyone else is interested. But I just want to first remind all board members that our Tennessee Ethics Commission Statement of Interest form is due on January 31st for every board member. So if you haven't done that, make sure you do. If you had any questions, you can contact me, contact TSBA. They can also help you if you had questions about that. As far as meetings, I put down several meetings that are upcoming. Also, of course, the Tennessee General Assembly is in session. And so there will be education meetings starting next week. They'll begin business. A few of them met, but it was mainly introductory. But business will begin next week for the education committees. There's a legislative liaison meeting that I'll be attending virtually. And then also there's TSBA trainings for board members that I've listed below in case any of y'all are interested. I will highlight, there is an opportunity to attend the Legislative and Legal Institute, which is always interesting. Then all of them listed. I also want to highlight the bottom meeting there on the form, the Belmont University. And actually, this is more than a meeting, really. It's an opportunity for students, actually, that you have a flyer that TSBA provides. And if this is something our district wants to do, I don't know if our board would need to vote on this or we just give Mr. Clay the go-ahead if we wanted to do this. But it's an opportunity for students to go to Nashville and participate in a student, basically leadership training, board member experience for training on what school boards do. And then there's a debate they can participate in. So if that's something that our district wants to participate in, might be a great opportunity for one of our students. And I would suggest that if it's something the board discusses perhaps, and then we think it's a great thing for Union County, that Mr. Clay we give him the ability to decide on that. So that was the last meeting, and the brochure is of course attached. And then I just want to inform the full board that we had a wonderful ceremony for Representative Dennis Powers, and we honored what he has done. 4 board members were there, but just to again recognize him for passing the virtual legislation, which is huge because not every bill gets passed, and he was able to pass a bill that would support our virtual school and our ability to provide positive incentives to our virtual school, as that is a challenging demographic that we have. Yet that opportunity has given us such a great opportunity to ease our tax burden with running that school. So we honored him for his passing the bill and then for his support for TCAT, and that went really well. There's also another thing I wanted to bring to the board that is attached as well is TSBA is doing several things legislatively, as they do every session, based on the delegate assembly outcomes and then several initiatives they have sponsored. And one of them is a capital projects trust, which would enable districts, if they so choose, to basically put extra fund balance monies into a trust fund that would earn interest, that would be set aside for districts to be able to plan ahead for capital needs. And TSBA, this would take state law changes. TSBA has been working on this for about a year now. And if we so choose to support that, there is a resolution attached that TSBA just sent out just recently that we could pass if we so choose to support TSBA's efforts to try to pass this as an option for districts to be able to plan for capital needs and put money aside earmarked for capital needs. So if that's something we want to do, and actually, it's actually going to be very quickly coming upon us. So if you're interested in doing this, we might even want to do it tonight. I don't know how that would all work, Mr. Chair, but if it's possible. But I hate to bring things last minute, but if we did want to do it, and of course, it's at the board's pleasure. But that's something we could do. I talked to TSBA, and they're going to hear this very early on. So even next week, probably in one of the committees. And then everything else is mostly self-explanatory. I included the education committee members for the House and Senate on there. I included what TSBA is going to be working on this session. Several of things I do believe will be of interest to our board. School nurses funding, SPED funding, which is, it's been placed behind the budget, but of course, there's several things that I have just attached here in a separate flyer for you. And then, of course, next month, I will have a report on different pieces of legislation that might be of interest. And that's all I have, I believe. Oh, one last thing. Representative Powers has a bill he is redrafting because the date was off, but it would be supporting creating a Victims of Communism Day. And if that's something the board so chooses to support, it doesn't have a bill number yet. He has to redraft it to change a date on it, but it's still an active bill. And that would basically, it would be a state law change that would recognize November 7th as Victims of Communism Remembrance Day. And then he's trying to make it so schools do teach a 45-minute class within the history courses on the history of communism and recognizing the victims of communism. So if that's something I personally am interested in, but if that's something the board as a whole is interested in, I will try to have a resolution for that and then give you that an option to support that next month. There wasn't a bill number yet. He's still nailing down a few things. But if that's something of interest to our board, I'll probably be bringing it back, and if it's of interest to you, then we can do that as a board to support his efforts on that as well. And lastly, we had our, Ms. Murr has come to us with concerns over the recess law and the changes, and I'll just say that I personally think the recess law, I think it's a great thing. However, her concerns were that in taking tools from teachers to set aside a portion of recess. If a student was misbehaving in class, they could have to sit out from 15 minutes of that recess, because there's a pretty steep requirements now on recess as of last session. And I did mention this, we did a resolution on this, which didn't pass, sadly, did not pass the delegate assembly. So TSBA is not able to take that up as a legislative item. But however, I did talk to Senator Seal about that, and he has considered it. He hasn't completely said he's going to do it, but he did send it to legal. I called the date again to get another update, and he has sent that on to legal. So he is seriously considering at this point trying to submit legislation that would change state law to give a portion of recess, the mandated recess times for teachers to be able to use as a tool, as an incentive tool. And our board did pass a resolution on that, so I wanted to update you on that, my efforts to continue to advocate on that. So that's all I have. Thank you so much. I'm sorry it was a little long.
Thank you, Rebecca. Okay, the next item is discuss school trips.
We're gonna fight over who was gonna do that. There are 3 Union County High School 60 FFA students to the National Fire Machinery Show in Louisville, Kentucky on February 12th. John Hugett's the sponsor. Union County High School 5 ROTC students to Nashville, February the 27th through March the 1st for the Area 8 academic competition, and that's sponsored by Jacob Strupert. And also Union County High School 25 students to the FFA convention in downtown Gatlinburg, March the 22nd through the 25th, and that's sponsored by John Fugett and Matthew Edwards.
Anybody got any questions about those? Okay, we don't have no contracts, do we?
Mr. Chair, one thing I would ask is if we could possibly move number 19, the ISN project up, so Mr. Schaffner can give his, you guys can ask questions about that, just so he doesn't have to wait till the very end of the meeting, because it should take him a few minutes.
Is that okay with everyone? Mr. Hughes, Mr. Schaffner, excuse me.
Thank you, Mr. Clay. So, Mr. Clay asked me to come and talk about ISM. I know I've been here a couple of times talking about the building that came in way over budget again. So, when that happened, we got together and come up with some ideas about how to spend. I think we had over $600,000 to spend, and we sent it in to the state and it was approved. And I think Mr. Clay shared this with you guys, what we had sent in. I'll talk a little bit about it. The first one there, the realistic work environment, facility, and equipment. So our plan is to put a building out there where the classrooms are going to go. We are wanting to put basically a metal building that we can work in, on not too cold days, not too hot days, to have a place we can work, and get some equipment. So we're looking at getting a skid steer that we're already partnering. When I told TCAT representatives about that, they are looking to do over $1 million grant with heavy equipment operation certification. So we've got that in the works. We're wanting to buy some Suburbans that we're all the time having small trips, small groups going here and there. And very few of our instructors have CDLs. So with this, they can take small groups to their trips and not have to hire a bus, bus driver and use a bus. So in the second step there with the program of accessibility and student engagement, there's where we're wanting to do the Suburbans. We're wanting to spend some money. A lot of times, I know FFA, that fund, they always fund anybody that wants to be in FFA is paid for. HOSA and some of our other CTSO programs, there's some fees. So we set aside some money that would pay students fees for that. They wouldn't have to come up with that money on their own. And then the last one, the site financial infrastructure, we're wanting to put a fence. We took down the old fence around the CTE lot. If y'all have noticed, we've tried to clean that up a little bit and make it a little bit more presentable and neater around the back in the CTE lot. We want to put a fence around that area and then get an electric gate where you'd have to have a card, scan reader to get in there and make it more secure. We're going to put a fence below the road there at the farmer's market between our school road and the farmer's market, and it go all the way out to the football field there. So, and then that would be able to secure that area as well. So, any questions about any of this? Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Schaffner.
All right, thank you all.
Okay, item number 8, performance services.
What are the chances this computer is going to work well?
Slim and none.
Let's see what happens. Can we turn on this TV by chance? I got it.
Taylor, this is Taylor Lamb. Taylor, introduce who you brought with you tonight.
I've got Becky Stone here. She's the former director of schools from Alcoa City Schools. She's working with us. And I've got Jason Wagner, who's one of our project managers. I will say we did a dry run and it did work. So. Great. I've got nowhere to be, so I'm good. Great, thank you very much. I'll come over to the microphone. I'm gonna try not to blow you up with the mic. My wife tells me I talk too loud, so I don't think it's gonna be a problem if I scoot back a little bit. My name's Taylor Lamb, like Mr. Clay said. I've got a couple handouts for you. You've got one handout that is this presentation to look at, and you've got another one that is a budget we put together for a project. Don't let the budget number scare you. That was everything we looked at. If you wanted to do everything, that's what that would be. Like I said, my name's Taylor. I work with Performance Services, and we've had the privilege of getting to work with Mr. Clay, Mike Johnson and his team to take a look at the old Horace Maynard Middle School and figure out what it would look like to breathe some new life into it so it can serve students for future years once you guys are moved out into the new school. So I have been in Tennessee for about 9 years now in the building space, and about 2 years ago, I started at Performance Services to help them start the K-12 market in Tennessee. So we are relatively new here. I'm not going to beat around the bush about that. You probably haven't heard our name before. But in saying that, I want to give you a little bit of background about who we are and where we've been. We're in Kentucky, North Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, Arkansas, Missouri. We're all around Tennessee. So we're happy to be here and getting started here. We've been around for 27 years, started in 1999. We've done over 800 projects. We're getting up on $4 billion worth of projects. So I say all that just to say, you probably haven't heard our name, but we know what we're doing. Our team here, I like to think we have some good experience. Jason is a project manager with us in case you have any questions around our operations or technical expertise. The project manager who would be working with you is named Bill Hall. He's in a training right now, so he couldn't be with us tonight. But he is from Cookeville. He spent about 10 years at Tennessee Tech. And then before that was in general construction. He actually built, I'm going to blank on the name, not Boswell, elementary school in Harriman, Tennessee, not too far from here. He built that elementary school. So he's done a lot of work around here in East Tennessee. If you want to ask Mike Johnson and his team about him, he can talk to you for days about any detail you want. But I say all that mainly just to say we're new to this corner of town, but we're not new to the industry, and we know what we're doing. What's going to set us apart from most other people is that we are very focused on customer satisfaction. And I know that is easy to say, but one thing we're very proud of is about 80% of our business last year came from repeat customers. And I think that's pretty rare in the construction space. It's pretty rare to get through a 2 to 3 year project and still like each other afterwards. But we're very good at that. We're very focused on customer satisfaction. And if you're around us a lot, you're going to hear sole accountability and you're going to hear no change orders. The biggest thing that we call out over and over is we don't think you should have to pay for a change order if you paid for a building to be designed and you paid for it to be built. If someone missed something in there in that design, it should not be your responsibility to cover that. And so what we do is we take responsibility for that. The way we do it is we use what's called design build construction. And that means that we use a single contract to both design a building and then do that renovation or building. That's a little different than what Tennessee schools have done historically. Historically, what you would do, and I think what you have done in the past recently, is you go out and you pay an architect in one contract. They go ahead and design a building. They're working with themselves and engineers. They design a building, and then they put that out to bid. And then you get construction managers or general contractors. There is some slight nuance between those, but I'm going to throw them all in one bucket right now and say that is generally awarded to the lowest bidder, the lowest qualified bidder. And that is a legitimate way to do construction. It has been done for many years. I think the problem is people have figured out how to work that system. I'd be interested to hear about your experience with it, but typically you never see a project on time and on budget because basically what that leaves is a huge liability between what exactly is designed and what exactly is built. There's a lot in between there, a lot of finger pointing, a lot of things that fall through the cracks. Nobody is perfect. Oftentimes designs are slightly off, things are forgotten, and that ultimately falls on you with change orders. You come back and immediately your budget is blown up with change orders, your timeline is stretched out. With design build, we have about 30 architects on staff. These are not third-party groups. They are our architects. We've got about 60 engineers, and we've got full general contracting team. So from end to end, we do the entire project, and we take accountability for it. If there is an issue, and I'm not going to sit here and act like we don't have issues or we don't make mistakes, we have design errors, we have omissions. The difference is how we treat those. If we forget something or design something that was not perfectly up to code, or something after the fact in construction that is found, hey, this is wanting, we need to change something, we take responsibility for that. We're not going to come to you and say, hey, we need more money. You're not going to have to go to the county and say, oh, I know we said this was $1.5 million, but it's actually 1.8, we need more money. That will not happen with us. We guarantee no change orders. When I say that, people often think that we probably have a ton more contingency. That's not true. They probably think we're more expensive, but actually we're typically a little less expensive. Data across the country shows that it's about 1% to 3% less expensive to use design build. Our own internal data, we don't publish it a ton, but we do have data in areas that we've done a ton of construction where as much as 10% less expensive. A lot of that is efficiency because we're all on the same team. We can do projects much faster because we already know we have the contract to do the construction. So we don't have to wait to start lining things up until a full design is done. So all that to say, design build's a great way to build a building. It's a great way to do a very complex project. A huge benefit is the project manager who would actually be working on your middle school and managing the project is also going to be working with the design and informing them and saying, hey, this is great, you're designing the Taj Mahal. We don't need the Taj Mahal, it's going to be too expensive. We can make sure that we're within budget. We can design to the budget that you need and be on site working with you to figure out what you need the most. So that's who we are. That's how we work. And now, if you're interested, I'd like to talk a little bit about the actual project that we looked at the Old Forest Maynard School. The overall budget for everything we looked at was about $4.6 million. This is very flexible in terms of what you decide your priorities are. We don't have to do all of this. We can do all of it. We can do it in phases. We can do half of it. We can do a little bit of it. Reasonable timeline. We would love to get started on this sooner rather than later. We could start it as soon as next month if you wanted to. We could easily start construction in the fall of 26 when the school is unoccupied. But also just know that we can update the budget. If it needs to be later in time, we can update the budget accordingly with time. But the kind of upgrades we're talking about, each slide has a picture of the school, and I've highlighted the sections of the school that we would be touching. Probably the most notable addition to the school is a secure vestibule at the entrance. This is probably on all of your newer schools, you have one. Just a secure entrance for safety. It's required if you do any kind of upgrade to the school now. Code requires that you add it. It just helps you securely make sure who can and can't come into the school. We've also benefit of having Bill on our team, the project manager. He's worked in East Tennessee for 30 years. He knows all the fire marshals. We've already had a call with all the fire marshals you can think of about what exactly needs to happen in the hallways with the fire codes in the school. And so they were super helpful. It's nice that he's, they're on his team there. So we've looked at that, the issues that are already there that need to be resolved. We're looking at upgrading all the lighting to LED. It's going to save you energy. It's also going to help you have a better learning environment, just a brighter building. And then the rest of most of this is surface upgrades that's going to make the building look new, freshening it up. There are details as to which areas get which, but basically we're looking at floors, ceiling, painting, cabinets, that kind of thing, to give it a fresh feel and make it a fun place for kids to come and learn. On the exterior of the building, there's a handful of just kind of housekeeping things. There's a concrete roof on a ramp behind the kitchen that is crumbling, could be a safety hazard. We looked into fixing that. You've got some freeze board and soffit that's rotted, that's warping, that's falling off, so we've looked at fixing that. And then probably the biggest one here, gutters as well, but the biggest one is replacing the windows. If there was a single budget item in here that you said, hey, how can we really reduce the price of this budget? I would point at the windows. The windows need replacing. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. But if you want to reduce your budget, that would be your big ticket item. That's a lot of time and it's a lot of money. And then we've got some HVAC units that are end of life, mainly in, I believe it's the 8th grade wing in the southwest side. Those wall units are end of life. And you've got a handful of just window units in other classrooms that we can upgrade those and save energy and just make it a much better environment, more comfortable with a more standard system. So that's the scope of the project. Some details here. looking at something like 14% energy savings. Most likely it would be more than this, but we do try to be conservative. We want to make sure that what we commit to you, we can absolutely fulfill. So we're very comfortable saying about 14% energy savings every year. TVA rebates right now, this can change depending on when you do the project. You get about $15,000 for the LED lighting. And then the last one is just kind of clarifying what spaces we're touching and which ones we're not. Number 3 there is a big one, and we've worked with Mike Johnson and his team in terms of figuring out where asbestos abatement would be necessary and where it wouldn't. That's going to be an important piece, and I'm sure that's going to impact the budget significantly in figuring out how much abatement needs to happen and how expensive will that be before we actually do this project. So that's going to be one we're going to need to work through. And then number 4, I just wanted to call out that we are upgrading everything to be in line with the Tennessee Code safety requirements. The only thing we're not including there is a camera system because you already have it. And then the exterior doors have already been replaced and upgraded hardware. So we are not touching stuff that was installed in the last couple of years. That's my spiel. That's my story. I'm going to stick to it. If you want reference projects, we've got a ton of them on our website. Here are a few that if you want to go look at on our website that are very similar in price and size and scope that we have done. West Memphis and Covington are both more in this area of the country. And then Yuma, Texas just fits money-wise and size-wise. I've got my contact information here. I'm happy to take any questions you have now if you want. I know you have a million things to do tonight, so it's okay if you want to reach out to me afterwards. Please call me, please email me, let me know if you have any questions or concerns around this project. That's what I've got. Are there any questions?
Thank you, Taylor. Anybody have anything for Taylor? As we were going through this, we started off looking at just the 8th grade hallway and what we need there, because that would be the most immediate place we could possibly move students to in the future. Because right now we don't need the whole building. But so he's like I said, he can break it down into whatever we would need as far as what we need to replace. We could do as little or as a lot. This is doing it all. What he showed you. This is because, like I said, the biggest thing I asked him to look at was the windows, because I know that most of the windows just not going to keep. So, and when you get into some of the asbestos abatement issues, that's what you're looking at is that copper around the windows. It's fine as long as you don't disturb it. But once you disturb it, you have to go through all that process. And we've already been talking to the guys we work with, Helton Associates here, about what that will look like. We don't have all that put together. We don't know what those costs will look like if you touch them. The other part is if you touch the top, most of that glue has some kind of asbestos in it. So if you touch the top, you don't have to touch the top. You can just leave it alone, keep it waxed, and keep going. You don't have to do that. But on a minimal end, you need to at least clean it up, lighting, paint, that kind of thing. So it's just, I wanted the whole gamut of what he could provide for that. What I like about his process is it's simple. It's one person. There's no change orders. Really like that, because since we're dealing with the middle school project right now, all those we've had, one like 61. So that's, that kind of thing. But, so if you guys have any questions, you get your contact information, reach out to him. He can answer anything you would have. So, but this is something that's coming down the road. If that's what the board decides to use the old middle school for something, it does need some work,
I have a quick question. Is this factored in the downstairs area of that building, or is this just a top?
No, the basement was excluded. They said to abandon that one.
Okay.
Oh, and there is one piece I forgot to mention. On that 8th grade wing, we also discussed the doors that lead out of the classrooms as a safety concern. Those are not required by code anymore. And so if someone was to prop those open or leave them unlocked, we typically see that as a pretty big safety concern. So we included in this price was actually converting those to windows that are properly filmed and everything for safety, but to give more natural light to the students as well as get rid of the entrance there to the classrooms. Those are the exterior doors, not the main door, obviously.
Mr. Clay, would you see any benefit to keeping them doors, but somehow making it so they couldn't be used as doors?
I'm not sure how we would do that right now. I mean, that'd be something to look at, but because they've been replaced. Since I was there way back in '98, they were in pretty bad shape. I know they've been replaced since then.
Any more questions?
I think going forward, I would like to see before we did make the decision, our needs that maybe Mr. Clay could print out. And I know, Mr. Chair, you said we were gonna have a committee on capital project needs and trying to assess those going forward with our growth of our county. So I'd wanna see like some hard data on what is our projected growth, what is our current overcrowding conditions, because I know you've expressed we have them. And even if you want to just share briefly right now, again, and then also, I would also like to see a breakdown of like what the individual things cost. If we decide we're going forward, or if we're still considering this, or if the board's still considering this, I want to see like a breakdown of all the costs. And then I'd also like, I know I did take a great tour when we were looking at the middle school, you know, to decide what to do on building a new school. I would like to maybe take another tour and reassess all these things before, if this is something the board is considering. Those are my thoughts. And thank you for the presentation.
As far as future meetings, what I see right now, next year, we wouldn't need. That's why when I've been talking to him, I told him that you'd have next year for construction. Going forward, it depends how many subdivisions they build. I know there's several in the works. Don't know when those are going to be come forward. Manorville School, we talked about that already. I mean, they're losing a big class of fifth graders. It's the largest class in the county. There's 75 of those children that are moving on to middle school next year. So that's the biggest class, the biggest grade, and you know, middle school. But they're leaving, so they're behind in the 60s. They're still large.
And I will add that if you decided, hey, we can't do $4.6 million, or it's not prudent for us to do that right now, if you said, hey, we have $1.5 million that we can put at this, one of our strengths is because we've had the architect and the builder, we work very well. We're working on real pricing. This is not a guessing at pricing. Not that architects guess, I shouldn't say that. But they typically don't actually build buildings. They might be asking friends to swag some numbers to get an accurate budget. We actually build buildings, so we can design to your budget. If you say, hey, we have 1.6, 1.8, 1.2, we can come to you and say, hey, these are your priorities. We think this is the best bang for your buck, and we can help work through that process, give you those breakdowns of what makes the most sense to do now and what might make more sense to do in 3 to 5 years. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, David. Okay, moving on to the next item, the EEC Prevent Alert Communication Badge.
As part of our ongoing efforts to try to increase safety, we spoke with this gentleman and his company back in the fall, and it intrigued us in what he came up with. This is nothing, it is uncommon, but a lot of school systems have the badge alerts already, but they have a new technology that they've developed, and that's what he's going to share with us, that we're looking at possibly implementing at least at the high school level, maybe as a trial run. That's why I want him to come and talk to you.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Greg. Good evening, everybody. I'm Scott Jefferson. I'm with Technology Energy Corporation. I'm the corporate growth specialist. Tonight I got with me, he's going to be handing out some information. It's Sam Wazinski, who's one of our software engineers. He was a very intricate part of the development of this product, the Prevent panic button, which is what I'm wearing. Again, like Greg said, a lot of other schools, there's a lot of systems out there. You know, everybody knows that school environments, the safety concerns in today's environment, what's going on. Again, there's a lot of systems, and again, they're usually very, very costly. And they typically, from what research I've done from the other systems and competitors, you have to press it multiple times. It just sends an alert, right? Now, it doesn't give any context to it. There's some other systems you hit medical, it sends an alert for medical, right? It doesn't give you what the context of those alerts are. What we developed with our Prevent button, and tonight, again, I apologize, we've got, I think our computer had problems connecting with the Wi-Fi due to some, permissions. So I actually got my button connected to my hotspot. So what it will do when I press the button, it said just do a couple of presses like that. Test 1, 2, 3 on broken foot in hallway 6. So now it's going to be a little slower if it's connected to your Wi-Fi traditionally. It's gonna be a lot faster, but since it's going through my hotspot, it might take it a moment. But what it does is that instead of just saying, again, it's going to give you on the screen there when it goes through, you'll see that's the dashboard, everything's located. It'll give you a location. Also, it's going to send an alert to the phone, whoever you designate. So if it's a medical, you might want to designate it just go to a nurse or the principal or to certain other individuals. If it's an alert for violence, you can actually designate who you want to get a message. There we go. So it comes through the phone. You get put here. So let me see here. I wish I could show you all. It'd be a lot easier. Sam, is it up there on that one?
I was gonna let you know, I'm a guinea pig.
It's,
I already got mine too, so.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
so what you just pressed is already here. So you get the audio recording, transcription that I got, the location based on the Wi-Fi scans, that sort of things that we are. And then the text message that he got has all that same information on there. You don't have to log in to see that same information. It stays active for 1 hour, and then it closes down.
So, yeah, so what it does and what Sam says, it'll give you a transcription, a verbal transcription, because again, you've got people that sometimes, they don't hear, they need to read, right, or something like that. So if anybody has hard of hearing or something like that, they actually get an alert on their phone. It says, broken foot, hallway 6, And again, what AI does is that, so if I say broken foot or twisted ankle or whatever, AI picks up medical alert. It's going to send actually a medical alert. It'll say a medical alert. So if I say, let's say, okay, a fight, in room 303, it's going to send an alert that says assault. So possible assault. Again, if it's a more serious, which nobody likes to think of that, right? A more serious assault, then you can actually set it up to where it actually shows, active, any kind of extreme issue. And you can tailor those messages to be what you want it to be. So it's not just what we say it is. You might want it to say something else for the medical, or you might want it something else, another kind of alert for the school to go through. So it's a customizable system in a sense. But it just doesn't give you, again, one of the things that even though some of those expensive competitors that we deal with, if they set up beacons, they put all this stuff in your school, which costs thousands, tens of thousands of dollars. Some of them over 100,000. I've seen one school system was over $1 million. So when you set up and it works off an existing system, there's no way to put it works off your existing Wi-Fi. So there's no cost for that. It's just usually a subscription cost and the badge cost, and that's it. But it also gives you more information, and that's what we feel. It gives you more information about what's going on in the school. So if a teacher says, they're feeling threatened, it's a double press button. They send that, the message goes through your Wi-Fi, and whoever gets alert, school resource officers, anybody like that can actually get notified. So it makes it a lot quicker to, for example, if something happens, right, a bad incident, most of the police procedures, they want you to assess what's going on first, right? So before the police even get there, somebody needs to have eyes on something or knows what's going on. Because I know there's some actually false calls that's been done recently at another school. Somebody got, again, the system, one of those $1 million systems actually sent false calls. So it pulled police off of other things and there was nothing going on. So this actually will give a context. It'll send like the school resource officer and make sure they can respond, to their phone saying, okay, here, okay, it's okay, it's a fight or it's a skirmish. So that's the difference between our product. And it's in battery saver mode. There's a couple things. It picks up using the AI. It's actually listening. Right now it's listening all the time. Now it only records after I press that button. What it's going to do is going to signify the 5 seconds before I press the button. And then it's going to pick up 5 seconds of the conversation after I press the button. So that sort of gives you a context of what was going on prior to the button being pressed, especially if there's a school or teacher, if there's any kind of, something going on between faculty and students, you can actually pick up on so many seconds prior to what was going on even before the button was pressed. So in battery saver mode, it's just going to pick up on the 5 seconds after you press it. So it's we feel, again, with what it offers, it's again, we call it Prevent Alert Communication Badge. It is a unique product with the AI, with the transcription, with the recording, with the location. We feel it separates us from all the other people out there. And also it's less expensive than anything that you
when he came and, demoed it with us back in the fall, the thing that caught my attention the most is this piece where it catches the recording before and after. So if you get a teacher, she notices the fight, she pushes the button, you'll hear that Johnny stop or whatever, quit fighting. So that tells the administrator right then, they know automatically what it is. Also with the location piece, it'll ping it on the device. You can see that it's in hallway, whatever, that room with it. I mean, it tells you that precisely what it is. Some of the other systems, I know they don't really do that. They give you a general location. And the best, well, with me, the best part of it is it's very inexpensive compared to the others. For the high school, we're looking at about $11,000 will be a yearly cost.
That's a year contract. Yeah, and that's including the badge costs and everything, so. And we do offer the 1 year, the 3 year, and the 5 year. Of course, you know, the longer the subscription stuff, that less and less expensive it gets, so. You know, again, school safety being, you know, premier, you see it all the time on the news and everything else, unfortunately, but, it's keeping everybody safe, and that's the most important. I grew up, like I said, I spent most of my career, I spent 16 years building body armor and tactical gear to keep the police safe, right, and keep the people out there in the street safe, and that's how important. That's why this is so important to me personally, is to make sure that people just stay safe. And by the way, Technology Street Incorporated is located just in Knoxville. We're a local company, so we're not too far away. Been there for 50-something years, so over 50 years. We just celebrate that this past year. So, but any questions about the product?
So if a teacher just pushes that button, and let's say they can't even really talk, but because they're dealing with some situation,
It's going to
will
listen.
help be on the way immediately when the button is pushed?
It's going to pick up on that conversation. Whatever's going on, it's going to pick up. And like I said, usually it's a transcription. So again, a while ago, I pressed mine when the other gentleman was speaking, and it picked it. Said, when he said the word timeline, it recorded over there. So it said timeline in the transcription. So it's going to pick up on whatever, you know. And again, whoever you set up for alerts, every teacher can be set up to get the alerts, or you can have certain people at certain times. You know, would you want everybody to be notified of medical? Maybe not. If you want everybody to be notified of whatever it is, like I said, well, again, any active hypothetical threat, yeah, everybody gets notified, right? Every teacher. So those are the things that you can set up individually. Okay, it's an interesting question.
The other piece about it too is it actually will hook up with our Raptor. So it can feed those words and we can hear the different Raptor. We can go on hold or whatever we do as far as lockdown with that AI, and then give that command to somebody else to say, hey, this is what's going on. The other piece that sold me was, since it does record a little bit, if you hear a gunshot in the hall, you can say, I hear gunshots in the hall, the science hall. So you still have that recording. It goes out to our officer, and the officer knows exactly where that's coming from. So with the other brands, you know, it just pinpoints where you're at. It doesn't give you that extra little information that you could use to get there quicker. And I don't know, it's hard to see on the map, but since he was sitting up in the corner, it shows that he was sitting in the corner of the auditorium on the map. So, and then I think that Charlie's seen my maps. We can actually use some of our maps and put on there and pinpoint just a little bit more than what we have to do.
So, and that's sort of, he brought up the point is that I've seen some videos of, you know, against some competitive products and stuff. So they're looking out a window and they see someone coming in for an entrance, right? So again, most of the others, they're going to press the threat's wherever the button, right? That's what competitors will get that. But by just the recording and stuff, you can say, heading into entrance B, you know, whatever it may be, that gives our school resource officer, I'm going to B, I'm not going to where the button's pressed, I'm going to where the threat is. So it gives a little bit better, you know, a description of what's going on.
And then since it comes in as a text message, you can also forward that message out quickly to other people. So they automatically can get the location and hear the message at the same time.
By the way, when they say customize all this stuff, like you guys do this through the website. So like over here, you add users, the different response types. You can choose, like you can put people in different categories, choose what they get. You do all that. You don't even have to touch it if you don't want to. All that customization stuff you're talking about happens right there.
and do the old fashioned silent alarm, like, they got you under the gun, you can't say anything.
Yeah, it is silent. When you push it, nobody knows what you're doing. You just hold your badge right here and hit it twice. It does not make a noise. They just hear other stuff from around it.
For that signal, but they know.
Yeah.
It comes.
Yep. So like when he pushed it a while ago, of course, it took a second, but once I got it, I can listen to see what's going on. And you know, the teacher can say, "Oh, Johnny, stop hitting me," or something like that. And Johnny don't even know what's going on, but she's recording everything that's going on inside that classroom.
So it's just that quick second. It just takes a few seconds to get the gist of what's actually happening. So, again, I pressed it just while he was talking. So, and without even knowing, he knowing that.
So I already got it right then.
Yeah, so it already came through that quick. And said, and they just hear other stuff from around. So it just picked up on that conversation he was saying. While he was talking, I just pressed it. So same thing in a situation, like you said, silent. You just press it sort of inconspicuously. We did this, actually the product, just a little background, we developed a product of another corporation that's interested. And because of the incidents that happen quite often in their environment, it's the same thing. They get addressed, robbed, stuff like that. So when you're in front of somebody, you just want to be able to press a button and talk, right? You're talking, hey, don't do that there. You can say keywords. AI is going to pick up on any keyword and it'll transcribe as, hey, listen, put the weapon down. Hey, you don't have to do this or whatever. Those are the things AI picks up on, and it'll actually send us whatever the proper alert.
Any more questions?
I'll just add this here. I think this would be a great investment going forward and at the low cost and everything. I mean, it'd be crucial to have. School
And
system.
once we get the cards in place, the actual cost of the subscription on the quote that I have, about $7,400.
Yeah.
So you keep the cards up front. Once those in place, it'll just be replaced some as it goes bad, it's like it is back now.
It's just, I met with Mr. Williams here a couple of weeks back. We was talking about school safety, and he was showing like this product compared to other brands and just the cost and it being non-invasive to set up. And that would be the biggest thing. In our situation, it's non-invasive, and if we could either test it, see how it does, and then go out to our other schools.
Yeah, that's what we were thinking. Josh and I was looking at, start at the high school, see how it works, work through the kinks, and we might roll it out countywide. That's on how it goes.
And I'm going to say this, is that basically, even I said this when I did body armor, I said that the best one, I hope you never have to use it. That's my thing. I mean, I hope you never have to use it. That's just like a vest. I hope it's never used. But it's for one, security, safety, and a peace of mind to know that you have something. At least that you can get somebody falls, in a place, or somebody does something, press the button, you can get help. You don't have your cell phone on you. You got this. So yeah, falling, I can't get okay. Don't want to take that tagline. No copyright for it. But anything else y'all have?
Can it be incorporated in our current ID badges that we use to enter the building?
Yes, so what we would do, either I would just make new ID badges because this is just a single piece of plastic. It's got an RFI, and it would actually just slide into that device there. So you would still do the same thing. You would hold it there, and then it would.
Okay, I hope it's not too thick.
Yeah, we'll just slide it in right there. Oh, this will come off. Yeah, it'd just be a card just like that. So our ID badges can be card like this. I can get them pretty cheap. It just takes me a little while to program them, but I can do this, and then that would just slide in there. Yeah, that was one of my biggest concerns was, okay, how much more is it going to cost? But it'll work.
Well, teachers having this badge for this and that badge for that, and they've got all
Yeah.
this hung around their neck.
And also, this would force teachers to kind of have to wear their badge a little bit, and we would know it's good to wear their badge.
Did not do it for that purpose.
No.
I promise. So,
Any more questions?
Thank you guys for coming up.
appreciate it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
For your time.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Williams.
And next is the Director's Monthly Report, Budget Amendments and Transfers. Missy Brown.
Good evening, everyone. You should find the different reports in your folder for December. At that time, you should be running all of your expenditures around 50% for the year, and they seem to all be in line. So I'll be happy to answer any questions if anybody has any. Okay, now I'll move on to the budget amendments. There's 6 pages of budget amendments tonight. Page 1 and 2 are Fund 141. This request is to move funds within the appropriated budget as needed, add funds received from other entities, and add FY25 TISA outcome funding. Any questions on those pages? Pages 3 through 5 for Fund 142. This is the federal programs. The request for Subfund 101 is the request to move funding within the appropriated budget as needed and to enter carryover funds. Subfund 301, this request is to add the carryover funding within the budget. Subfund 501, this is to transfer within the appropriated budget as needed. And then page 5 is Subfund 801 and 901, and these transfer requests are to move within the appropriated budget as needed. Okay. Then I have page 6 of 6, the top is 177, the education capital projects. This budget amendment is to move appropriated funds to cost-centered expenses. And in the bottom of the page is Fund 189, which is the new middle school fund where we're expending the bond money. This budget amendment is to move funds within the allotted budget as needed. Any questions on any of those? Okay, that's all I have.
Thank you, Missy.
Thank you.
Do we have any items for surplus? Okay. We'll move on to personnel updates and handouts.
Thank goodness there's not many things on there, but that's what we got. Of course, I know I put in my notes I send out about the football coaches. So they're here and they're working, getting ready to go.
Maintenance and capital project updates.
And of course, I know the biggest one on everybody's mind is the Big Ridge HVAC system is down. We've had a devil of a time trying to get that part. We got the wrong part in, so now we should have it in the morning, get that up and going. If not, we'll figure out another way to heat next week because we're going back to school on Tuesday. As far as the middle school goes, here's the latest cost sheet on the middle school. I know there's been several things I put in the notes this past week about some other things that I was keeping outside of the contingency, the additions, like the camera system, the door access things. I put it on the outside of it to stay away from the markup. That's the biggest reason why. So the extra 15% that I could put on top of that. So if you guys have any questions about any of those things that I put in the notes, and one of them was the camera systems, the door entry system, school phones. We've got pricing on those. I'm ready to turn those purchase orders loose. There's the kitchen pieces, and I think I talked about this before. We did have 2 coolers on the line. One of the coolers the cooler type was discontinued, so we had to look at a different vendor, and those were going to be substantially a lot higher. Then that's when Ms. Effler brought up the idea of putting a warmer on one line, a cooler on one line, and we've had an oven so we can have the pizzas like they have at the high school. Gives the kids another option. The middle school they currently don't have. So that's why we wanted to pursue that. So that's what those costs would be to add those 2 pieces back. There'll be a change order for the coolers, which shouldn't be but a slight increase as far as what that would be to fix that. Any questions on any of those? If not, we're gonna return those purchase orders loose tomorrow. To get that stuff ordered, so we get it in. The other piece was, I sent you all the updated stuff on the baseball, softball fields. The increase, basically, thank goodness, even though it was $74,000, it's still, I was expecting more on one of the markups. If you look at that change order, anything has updated written beside it, that's the cost that changed. If it didn't have updated, it means the cost stayed the same. So some of those subcontractors, the cost stayed the same as it was before, they didn't go up. Now, one thing to note is, I think I put it in the notes for y'all too, is you have the option. This one is written with the metal poles for the lights, just like the high school field. You can reduce that cost $50,000 by going back with the wooden poles, you know, the crystal poles and stuff. So that's, if you want to stay with this one's ready to go. This one is tonight. That's $74,000 more. The other one that I sent you all was about the sewer and water lines. I sent you, it had a little drawing with it. I don't know if you remember that. It was quoted, the price on that original change order was quoted with that first picture. And talking to Merritt before, I thought we was going to have to go with that second picture to take the water line all the way down the hill and around the front of the school. Well, they have been back talking with the city again. The city's going to let us go back to the first option, which keeps our costs, reduces our costs. So that water line will come out of the 8th grade hallway and just extend up the hill for the baseball, softball fields, for the concession area and bathrooms. So that's a good news. I didn't have it in the stuff for you guys tonight, but that change order is going to increase from 98,000 up to 106. And that was for the material changes. I just got that before I came over this afternoon. So that one, as I put in the notes to you all, I was going to run it through contingency to keep it out of increasing the overall cost of the contract. That was my plan. Because we got roughly $696,000 still in contingency. And that's in your updated costs I just shared with you all. And, I think I put updates in there about, we had another construction meeting this week. Basically, we're still waiting for the gym, the boulevard, going to the gym, that area to be kind of finished and in the dry. Everything else is in the dry, it's being painted, wires are being pulled. They got sheetrock in the administrative wing, all that's been finished. And they're working on all that stuff now. If you've not been by in a while, you need to come by and look at it again. It's changed quite a bit. The gymnasium and all that part should be in the dry by late February, early March. And will be everything in the dry. They're working on putting the pad down right now to set the propane tanks and we get heat and air up there. Get all that started there. So we get it under climate control. Any question about anything else middle school related?
Did they put the sod on the football?
Sod is on the football field. It is there. Irrigation's in. It's been winterized right now. We'll turn that on as soon as the weather breaks in March. Start watering it today. Hopefully we get a lot of rain this next couple months to keep it. It's storming right now, but it should be okay.
I have a quick question. I attended the meeting, I guess, in December, construction meeting. There's a question on the propane tanks, whether that's going to do was it a single or two?
We're doing 4 2,000-gallon tanks. We went back to the original plan. By county had suggested using one tank, but the fire marshal would not approve that because you have to be so far off the road. And we couldn't do that without being out in the football field. So we went back to the original plan for those. And those tanks are supposed to be delivered in this month, so they should be put in place relatively quick.
Thank you.
Any more questions?
Do you have a recommendation on the saving $50,000 for the poles? Do you think there's one option better than the other?
Well, for the difference in money, I would stay with the metal. I mean, the wood will last a long time, but metal's not forever. Because the reason and the other reason we need to know that too is it's a bigger area to, you got to set it on. It takes a big concrete foundation for that metal pole. For the wood pole, this is buried in the ground, kind of thing. So metal's going to last forever. And like I said, we'll have the nicest baseball fields for middle school in the Southeast.
In this new cost, coming up, does that include like the scoreboard and other amenities?
The scoreboard, they met today with one of the vendors. You get pricing on that. When I was talking to Dr. Coolor, him and Mike Johnson met with those guys. It was looking like it was going to be around $10,000 for those scoreboards for both. So that's what, that doesn't, I don't have the installation cost on that, but it's in that neighborhood. So that would come in cheaper than I thought it was gonna be.
Will this be, I mean, fully furnished? Is there anything else that's needed to add to finish them completely?
No, the bid for the furniture is coming out at the end of the month. I think it's on the 28th or 9th, whatever that last Thursday is. So we'll have an idea of what that's gonna come in like. There's been several people I know have contacted Crystal and contacted Lewis Crew about bidding on that. So we'll know more then. It's like on the furniture, we shop them in. So we know we're going to have to come off of that some, but we want to get the best of the best in there. And they had really good product that they put in there for student desks and the stuff that's going to be generally used every day that'll last. So we'll have good things for that. But we'll see what it is that comes in, because I put it in the notes, like the budget for that's like 900,000, so hopefully not. It's just sod. It's sod turf, what it is. It's not like astroturf. It's gonna be, it's the same thing you got on the football field. Same company. Now, actually, I had a couple rows left that they're keeping, and if it holds up, you'll probably save a little bit if you use it up there. It was, if you never saw it, it was really interesting when they put it down. This comes in a gigantic roll, we get out there and just roll it out like carpet. So it kind of started like carpet.
Any more questions? Okay, moving along, discuss revision to board policy 1.1021.
What this one is, what I sent to you all is just if the board chooses to adopt this, I took the high school's criteria for the student representative and incorporated into a generic policy. So that's what this is. It's just a generic student board member policy, if you guys wanted to choose that. And what I will note is there's a young lady here tonight who is has signed up to speak. I would like to give her that opportunity to speak now instead of later, if that was all right. So, come on up. And from what I understand, she is going to be our future valedictorian for you in high school.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mary Carolyn Medea, and I'm a student representative for UCHS, and I'm also a current senior. I just wanted to briefly talk to you about all that's been going on throughout the school, but positively, because it's a really growing environment that we've been having. Throughout the last 4 years, the school has made tremendous progress academically and curricularly. Within the last 4 years alone, our end-of-course test results have surpassed the state average with an all but one subject. Even though one subject did not surpass it, it was still able to tie it. Regarding previous years, our test scores often staggered slightly behind the state, so this is really tremendous progress for me to witness. As mentioned, our extracurriculars are also up and running, especially currently since it is a spring semester. The school is often spirited due to all of our new teachers and students, but it's also very lively after school. A new program has recently taken place in the school called Family Career and Community Leaders of America. And what basically they do is they recruit many of our student leaders to take part in our school and help around. Regarding our sports, as mentioned, we have many after school practices, some track being daily. So it's very impressive that they commit so much of their time for it, and they're preparing for games oftentimes. Our football team is especially active at the moment because of their new coaches, John Netherton and Riley James. They have many visionary plans for the team, especially regarding the community. Outside of our athletics, clubs like the D&D Club and our new theater program are also bustling with creativity after hours. In addition to all the creativity, the UCHS Patriot Band will be hosting a patriotic concert, and basically what they're planning to do is invite all of our county veterans in hopes of honoring throughout their service, especially recently or from many years ago. Lastly, I'll be speaking about graduation. Graduation is rapidly approaching, but there are many events prior to it. For the first time in my high school career, we're having a winter formal again, the 21st of February, and the highly anticipated event prom is April 24th at Broadway Event Center once again. Following that will be all the senior events, including May 8th being senior signing and awards, May 11th our senior walk, and May 15th graduation. Speaking from my experience from the graduating class, we had many hardworking students this year, and they've been really working hard, especially recently preparing for college or TCAT. And we have a bunch of students this year graduating actually with an associate's program because they have been doing middle college, which is where they take additional classes after school and within their summer to actually gain college experience. And so in addition to their high school diploma, they will be gaining their associate's degree. And that is very impressive to me. And I know many of them personally, and I know how hardworking they all are. But yeah, I just wanted to briefly tell you all about what's been going on because, you know, high school is a very important moment in all of our lives. And I just want to highlight how much it has changed from my experience from my freshman year to now my senior year. And our school spirit has been really high, and I really hope it will continue to rise within the following years. If you have any questions regarding the school or any concerns, I would love to answer it to the best of my ability. But if not, that is all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you for presenting to us.
Thank you.
Thank you again.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, may I add something?
Yes.
Like, when I think of the student board policy, I think of something like that coming forward, because that tells us what's going on. It's a student's voice, a student's opinion. And I also agree with, Ms. Locke's legislative report on the scope, possibly maybe partnering with the school or seeing what the cost that would be to send and have a student board rep experience that, and then that going into us getting a student board representative. But that's just my thoughts on that, but thank you.
Thank you, George.
And I know you haven't had time to read that. I think it's $75 for the student to attend. And then, of course, there'd have to be hotel expenses, and they have to have a chaperone. So that's, and I think we can send two, I believe. But that's all in that form that I gave everyone. So the policy that we received, I'm sorry, I didn't ask you to ask a question. The policy that we received here on a Chromebook, is that, I read through it, so is what we just saw, what this policy would approve?
That's kind of my vision of what it would be.
Okay.
Is that right there?
And we don't need to add any additional wording to accomplish.
That's totally up to you, but I tried to leave it as open as we could. It doesn't designate a number. I know we've talked about a number. It just can't exceed how many's on the board. So I know talking with Mr. Lay, he's got, I think, 7 seniors that have been interviewed by the counselor, have been interviewed by administration, have been screened, that would be, you know, able to come and do just exactly what she has done.
That would be good one at a time.
No, not all 7, no. I mean, it would, in the typical school year, you just rotate months. You'd have somebody come each month just to speak about the club or what's going on at the school.
I think Mr. Cook had a good idea. He suggested that we try this for the rest of the school year and see how it goes. Then we can decide later on about I know it's coming up that we're going to vote on the student representative here in a little while, but I think Mr. Cook had a good idea there.
Is this student going to be sponsored by anyone in particular? Any teacher? And I ask that because at the presentation, I felt attacked. I think Rebecca felt somewhat attacked in the presentation of this because we were just trying to ask questions and trying to get a feel for what this looks like. So I'd like to know, is this going to be sponsored by someone, or is this going to be someone that is overseen by the administration?
from what this one has worked, Mary may speak to that better than me. It was mainly interviewed by the administration. Teachers nominated these students, what just club, teachers nominated these students for these positions, and they had to be showing all that criteria that's in the policy in front of them. So once Mr. Lay, Ms. Beeler, and Mr. Robbins interviewed these folks, they screened them down for this is who you would see for somebody like Mary.
I just didn't want it to be a teacher's grievance through a student, because I felt like that's what we got at the presentation. I love this format where you have students coming up and representing what is happening at the school.
I know we spoke about this before, but I would probably put these folks at the top, kind of like right after her update or something, or have them come up and just give a report.
And, Mr. Clay, will you have the final approval on the
That's the way this is
selection?
written.
Okay, wonderful. And I did read that, but thank you for clarifying. And if we did do what Mr. Cook just evidently shared, do we, need to add a sunset in this?
Well,
I know that-
really, I mean, I gave you an example of what we could do if we adopted the policy right now. If you want to keep it like it is, what we currently have, you could do exactly what we've done tonight, as I asked her to come and sign up for public comment. Because we can't stop somebody from coming to do that anyway. So we're just trying to put something formal on there, because I know it's brought up, and I know Mary mentioned this, I believe, is this will help her on college applications, that she is one of these representatives. So even though she's a genius, and she scored like a 36 or 2, whatever it was, she scored a 32, I think, what she told me. It would still help her, because it's competitive in college right now. And she's one of our brightest students we have, so we want to make sure we give her every opportunity.
Well, I'll go back and say, Mr. McCarty said, according to his opinion of the law, we have to do this. And I'd hate to ask him to represent us if we didn't do what he suggested that we do. And that'll be up to the board.
And if there's anything in this that you guys think needs to be added, we can add that. I mean, I just want to give you something to look at, so we'd have a framework to go by. So if you add a line about something, we can put it in.
I think this would be perfect, and go back and answer Mr. Cook's concerns on it. As board members, we can edit and modify policy. I mean, that's our duty. Anytime there's an issue that would come up, we can go in and update our policy. So, I mean, I don't see it having a sunset. I can see, we're actively modifying and reviewing policy. It would go back to that. But that's the way I view it.
I'll just add to the conversation. Yes, you're correct, Charlie, absolutely. We can modify policy as we see fit. Just sometimes I think the battle is a lot greater if we decide this is something we're uncomfortable with, to go back and have to modify a policy versus having a sunset that we can. So that's just one conversation. But I mean, I appreciate the compromise that we've come to on this after many debates. And I appreciate you for presenting. You did a great job. Thank you so much. And yes, so thank you.
Mr. Clark, I have a question. So we voted to adopt the criteria in November, correct? I'm
I
trying to.
thought it was asking me to go back and get that defined between what Mr. Hampton proposed and the high school proposed. And so,
We voted, and I could, okay, we voted in November to approve what was presented to us from Mr. Lane and his
Okay.
administration, which is this right here.
Yep.
So I was confused at why we are.
well, this is actually in the generic policy that TSBA provided to us. It had all these components, and it said, yeah, it had in the middle, it said, put your selection criteria here as an option. So I just put it in there. The first paragraph and the last paragraph comes from that generic TSBA policy they sent us. You guys adopted something different when you passed the policy. If you choose to change the policy, this is an option, you can change it too, but this is not what this policy reads as of right now. So if you don't want the criteria, then we can take it right back out.
So if we're changing policy, does it take 2 readings?
Unless you guys choose to do it on one, like we did the student disciplinary policy.
If we do it on one, doesn't it have to be under certain conditions? I didn't know we could just do it on one without certain conditions.
The board can vote to change it on the first reading. It's in their policy that we can do that. Do you have that, policy number, Johnny?
Not at the present time. I had it a month or two ago when we were, but it's my understanding that the board can approve any policy on first and final reading. On motion, if it receives a second and goes through.
Yeah, we'd have to have a motion and a second to do it on the first reading.
First and final.
So we're making the criteria. This is being presented to us as we are making the criteria that we adopted, that we approved in November, part of the policy. Am I understanding that
The
correctly?
way I put it in there, yes.
Otherwise, we don't have to adopt it as such, and it can stay the way it is, and we will be, according to Chris, okay, legally, right?
Well, according to Chris, my understanding is we have to do this. We have to have a representative to do this. This is our policy, the way it's written right now says if the board chooses to do that. The one we currently have, it doesn't say we have to have it. That was where all this started at.
Okay, so
This is why I brought this policy. This is what we're putting.
according to Chris, this policy that we're looking at gets us legal.
Yes.
That was the part that I was missing.
Can I clarify, ask you, so what did we voted on Mr. Lay's recommendation? I thought we had voted on that as well last month.
And did, it was the criteria. It was the criteria, how they would be nominated within the school and how they would be presented to Mr. Clay in the process, what that process would look like internally before they got to him
And this is the policy.
with that criteria and the process to get them.
Mr. Chair, I'm sorry. Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
may I recommend that we add this policy for student board member to our meeting tonight to vote on, to adopt, to be legal with legal requirements.
It's on the agenda as technically a first read, so you do first and final.
Any more discussion? One more discussion, we'll move along. The next item is discuss coaching supplements.
I sent out several documents about this. The one probably, I guess, that they pay the most attention to is just that one that has band and cheer on it, because that was basically the question. So that's the one to look at. Dr. Carter brought this to our attention several months ago. So basically what I have on there is, one option would be just to double what they already have. We've already paid both coaches for the fall. We've already paid them with one supplement. We went ahead and paid it. because I was anticipating this would change, we didn't pay me, we didn't pay me. So if we approve doing a change, they would get the additional supplement at the end of the winter season, which would be February timeframe. So what you've got in front of you is, one of them was basically, like I said, double it. The other one was, it would reduce it somewhat, but and it shows you what the max would be on the sheet. And the only reason I did that one as an option B is that keeps them from making, they wouldn't make more than a football or basketball. We've had that discussion, that debate. But that's two options you have before you, so when you get to the point of voting tonight, I guess just specify, someone make a motion if you want option A or option B. That'd be the simplest way I would think that would work.
One question, so if you had a cheerleading sponsor for the fall sports and a different cheerleading sponsor for the spring sports, how would you do that? Because it's two different seasons, so would their supplement be split in half and?
Way we've currently done it, wouldn't it? So if we go back to what they pay for each season, then they would be, if you had two different ones, then one would make 37, 50, if it maxed out.
Okay, thank you.
Well, our budget,
Oh, yes, it's not that, I mean, I put the bottom of the impact would be on the two different supplements on there, so. But there's nothing that we think is sustain.
any more discussion?
Without me going back and looking, option A is just to
Option
do,
A is just double what we already have in the
Okay.
supplements. And option B is, I think it's, instead of 3750, it's 3,000. That's the difference. Yes. And I did put in there also what surrounding counties that I can get information from, are paying from.
Any more discussion?
Well, you know me, I'm cheap, so I'm always gonna go with a lesser amount.
And you feel the B is fair because you were saying it would make it so cheerleading coaches weren't making more than the head coaches and weren't making the same as the head coaches.
I'm not gonna argue the part about paying twice kind of stuff. That's irrelevant, at least to me. I was just looking at the overall impact of how much the supplement would be.
Any more discussion? Okay, if not, we'll move on to the teacher incentive plan.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I met with Mr. Clay. We were supposed to vote on this, the last meeting, and then right before the meeting, I was asked, can you get more specifics? So I did meet with Mr. Clay, and he put together, and I'm trying to pull it up here. He put together some suggestions he felt that would include, a great deal of our staff. If the board so chooses to do this, you know, I didn't expect to be talking about this again, and I know this has been drawn out for a long time, but if the board chooses to do this, my proposal in short was to create a separate pot of money, a separate program, budget dependent for teachers who meet certain criteria. And Mr. Clay worked, last week, we put together ideas as well that are listed in this plan that you have on your Chromebook that will basically not only just reward growth and achievement, but also longevity. It would also include teachers with serving students with high needs. We tried to be very broad on it by including even individual teachers that had 2 or more students with a behavior plan, so it wasn't just SPED teachers. So that would put them in the hat for the bonus. And a high performance teacher based on their evaluation. And then also we included an attendance piece that he thought was also good to include in this. this basically would create an incentive program, wouldn't penalize anyone, but it would recognize teachers that were going over and above. And if the board doesn't choose to adopt this, that's the pleasure of the board, and hopefully this truly is the last time I'll be bringing this to you all. And then the last thing I want to say to you is that, because I feel I've already talked this to death, so that's why I'm really not doing a lot of explanation right now. But I would be happy to answer questions. And of course, Mr. Clay, I'm so thankful. Thank you, Mr. Clay, for sitting down and putting this together. I really appreciate that. But he also could, of course, answer any questions. And then also lastly, I want to say, if we don't do this, I would like to see us do something for SPED. Absolutely. And something in addition to this, perhaps, based on what I kind of have heard researching this. And I feel that, you know, we need to recognize what they're doing and really reward what they're doing, I think. So this is a way to recognize and reward and provide a positive incentive, keep us, you know, pursuing excellence without offending as many teachers as possible. I try to make it very broad and not just based on growth and performance. So thank you so much.
I do have a question on this, is CTE teachers. In that one section, section 2, it says students earn a blank industry certifications.
That's the number I was trying to work out with Lance. We never could really come to something to define there because on those industry certs, it varies by program.
Yes.
So it'd be really hard to define that. Even talking with Mr. Lay, he said he probably would just let it go through let number 4 be one of the ways they would CTE could earn that.
Okay.
Because that one is primarily there for non-tested folks. He gives them a pathway. Because the way this is laid out, every teacher has a pathway to get to the bonus. I mean, and it's in some areas it'd be tough to do that. But like for instance, on the example I put at the top was, you know, we talked about the cap. Well, we put $50,000 in the pot for now as an experiment to see if that's what the board wanted to do. And it would depend on how many teachers qualify on what that bonus would actually look like. That's what the example was I gave you guys in that. So it's that what we're looking at.
Any more discussion?
Terry, can I just say too that, to remind the board, this is something that, you know, I was trying to think of a positive way to try to encourage growth and performance in our district because 3 years ago or so, when, you know, we got the reports, we had some areas we needed to improve. And I recognize all that our teachers do, and I know that improvement is not always just on their shoulders. It's depending on many factors. That's why I tried to be very broad in this and did a lot of research actually in trying to put this together. And so this was, as a policymaker, I feel like our duty is to try to encourage what we need to do for the state, for our citizens, for our students, and to pursue excellence. And I feel that this is a way we can do that by being fair. And I definitely value both of those things, fairness and excellence, both equally. So this was just my attempt as a policymaker to try to submit something to help us. So we're doing something to work towards what we need to meet for the state and for everything else. So thank you.
Anything else on this? If not, item 17, discuss PSBA recommended change to policy 6.319, alternative education, and this is due for approval on the second reading.
And this is exactly what you approved on first reading back in November, and the only change to it is what TSBA recommended concerning student placement in an alternative program, and it has the phrase, if assigning the student to that location would endanger the safety of the students or staff. It takes that into consideration.
Any questions? Okay, we'll move on to item 18. Discuss TSBA recommended board policy revision as followed, presented for informative purpose at this meeting. 1.901.
I provided you all the information that they sent me, which is the email from TSBA that explains what the changes are. And I highlighted in yellow for you things for you to look at. Policy 1.901, they make a change that adds a requirement that boards provide charter sponsors with state and federal for pupil funding estimates. And it also includes a timeline for reporting board actions on applications. And then there's another policy, they recommend policy 2.804, expenses and reimbursements, regarding whether districts can reimburse individuals for purchases that include sales tax. Reimbursement may be made if the board has a policy authorizing this practice. And the comptroller recommends that each board consult its attorney in crafting these policies. And I included for you TSBA's recommended policy, and I highlighted their suggested changes in yellow. And then I gave you their public chapter that refers to it. And then in the very back, there's a pamphlet from the Tennessee Comptroller of the Treasury that addresses frequently asked questions about internal school funds. And in the very back, I give you the current board policy. And charter school policies change, it seems, almost every month or two. You just approved the latest recommended change to 1.901 back in October. And now it's back for another recommended change. But the expense and reimbursement policy has been in effect as it is. It's not been changed since 2011. So this is the first time they have addressed it. But this is just for you all tonight to take and read. We'll bring it back to you next month to see if you want to approve it on first reading.
Any questions?
Number one, I just want to thank so much. Thank you, Dr. Mency, for doing all this work and for highlighting everything like this and putting this all together so easily for us to be able to look at it. Thank you so much. And then secondly, did Mr. McCarty give his blessing for this change? Like, did we, it said that we should consult our board attorney. Did we do that?
At the present time, no, we've not.
Okay.
Any other questions? Okay, item number 20, discuss board retreat. We have talked about having a retreat, and it'll come up a little later on the agenda to be voted on whether TSBA's got any role in that or not. And we can vote on that then. We're going to have a board retreat, and it's just up to the board to decide whether we want them to be involved or not.
I would like to say that a board retreat with TSBA involved is very beneficial. It keeps it organized. We have the opportunity to discuss things that are pertinent to us. For example, what are we going to do with the middle school? You've got things in our strategic plan that directly are attached to things that we need to be discussing. The growth of our student population, the middle school. There's a lot of things that are attached to our strategic plan, and all TSBA does is help us organize those in silos and put it down into writing and keeps our folks organized and trained. They give us the opportunity to do the process. Another thing is the virtual school. I'm sure a lot of people wonder exactly what happens at the virtual school and what that looks like. Actually bring in the head of the virtual school and allot them an hour, hour and a half, just for us to question and talk about what that school looks like. Because I found that when I was director, most of our board members didn't really understand what that actually looked like in practice. So I'd like to see us go back to that style of, you get your credits, but you're not necessarily doing it to just get your credits. You're doing it in a way that you could be informed. And I challenge everybody to go back to last year and what that video really was about that you watched for ever how many hours you watched. Because it probably didn't impact you that much. You were doing it to get your 7-hour credit. This will impact what we do and gives us an opportunity to sit together and do it. So that's my thoughts on TSBA sponsored, organized to get our credits. And it's the most beneficial way to do it.
Any more discussion?
Has there been any dates set or tentative dates for this? Because I know we like to discuss the budget beforehand, or.
Yes, and we had mentioned that before, so I sent this to, she used to be Dr. Tammy Grissom, she's now Dr. Ganger. And with the thought that you might want to incorporate this with budget planning, she gave me dates that are available from basically now. The first one she lists is Thursday, January the 29th through Monday, March the 30th. That's what she has available. I mean, it's not that if you all wanted to decide to do it later in the year, you know, we can contact her again to see.
If you want to tie it in with when our first TISA real numbers, we won't have those till late February. So I would look at the March dates if you want to incorporate those dates.
I'm like Justin, one thing I see, all of these dates are in the middle of the week.
And these were the only dates available.
Well, these are the dates that she has available through Monday, March the 30th. And read the next paragraph. Does 9 to 4 work for you? I am assuming that the board is wanting to have a 7-hour meeting so that they can get mandatory training credit for the July 1, 2025 through the 26th cycle. And 3 of you already have completed your required training. Dr. Carter, you're one of them, by the way. I would say as far as district planning goes, these dates would be good with the budget in mind, but now for district planning, when we actually have any data, new data to plan on, not before the end of.
Oh, no, we're only going to be using last year's data right now.
Do they still do the Friday night, Saturday format? Do they
I don't
still?
think so, because the gentleman that did it when I first came on, the same one I'm assuming he probably used, he
Yeah.
retired. He doesn't do it anymore.
So they don't do that format anymore?
That's nothing that she offered. And I don't think we had that option last year either with them.
According to what Ben Torres told me, it'll either be him or Tammy. Any more discussion?
Mr. Chair, and I was wondering, when do we need to confirm and make these dates? Because I know that's coming up pretty soon, and then we're gonna have to see, reserve and plan and coordinate beforehand. But I mean, what's the timeline look on this?
Well, according to what you just got through saying, that's the reason it's on the agenda to be voted on, because the sooner we get this done, the sooner, Mr. Mincy can take care of this for us.
So do we have to vote like on the date and whether or not TSBA, or just to vote, they do it and then we discuss one of these dates afterwards?
My preferred date would be the 30th of March. That gives me more time to look at the numbers, get those numbers to you, what's coming in on the TISA. It's like, it won't be till the last week of February when we get that.
So do they have April dates?
She just didn't provide any past March 30, so I don't know if she does or not.
Okay.
Possibly, but I don't know.
Maybe we could, approve it and then say, but let's try to find out what the April dates are. And
Any more discussion? Okay, this has been pretty long session. I went to, the recorder of deeds pretty good while ago, and I've got a copy of all of the property that the school system owns. And I don't know, whether, Mr. Clay's got a chance to look at it or not. I know I've not. I give, Missy, the copies and then give them to Greg, and I've got them back tonight. I guess we could make copies and get them to them, or you can look at them or whatever. But
If they want one. That's a lot of paper.
Yeah, there's a lot of paperwork in that. And then you can pass it down and just look at the bulk of it. But now here is, what made me think about doing this. Okay, we're talking about maybe in the future building a school. The first thing we need to know is how much property we got, or we're gonna have to buy property. And maybe this will help out when it comes that time. Jimmy, did you know how much property we own?
In technical terms, a bunch.
I would like to receive a copy of this and look at for records.
If anybody else would like a hard copy of it, just let me know and I'll get it made. I've got a copy just like Terry has. It just, we can make some.
just off the top of perhaps Dr. Carter, your mind, and then Mr. Clay, do we even have property that we could potentially build on at this point, or would we need to purchase property?
I've not went through all of them. I don't know. I would say most of it's occupied.
We do have property above what is now known as the Little League Field. And I think that was looked at one time for building, but it wasn't, the grade of it was a little rough. I haven't actually been up there, but I think when they were looking at Paulette, that was one of the areas they were looking at to build something. I don't know, or maybe something was looked at up there. And, but it wasn't really viable or anything like that. Because the original high school, 433, cut it apart, it went up through, and what's the Little League field was the old football field. So it goes up and beyond that up there.
And then also discussing whether or not, like, if the middle school, old middle school would alleviate some of this need, and what, if that would enable growth without having to build a new building. Does anybody have thoughts on any of that?
Mr. Chair, I know we discussed before about having a project planning committee and having maybe a workshop on this. I think all the board members, we need to take a look at this and take a look at the options. And then tonight, we got this valuable information for performance services. We can take and just have a meeting on this and discuss, what our options are and future projects. But I think it would be nice to set a date and set a time, maybe soon, and meet on this, because I know it's coming up. I mean, the county's growing, and we need to be proactive on a situation like this. But that's what I recommend.
I originally thought we could do it this month, but this month's getting away from us real quick. And I'm like you, I think we need to do this. And what I wanted as far as the committee, I want the board to be the committee and Mr. Clay, and then Mr. Mincy to be the recorder, because we can get the people come and talk to us about what they project the future might look like. But if we don't have some kind of record of it, it's like Jimmy said about doing the virtual training, I will forget it. But if I've got a hard copy that I can look at, that'll be better. What do you think, Mr. Clay?
For you, yes.
And this would be a subject of discussion at the retreat, correct?
Yes, that'd be one of the topics, more than likely we talk about too.
Yeah, we need to do it soon.
Mr. Chair, and I know this might fall under other, but I'd like to possibly see some stuff added to tonight's meeting on the agenda to vote on. Can I read that out loud, or do we need to vote, or might just get a board consensus on to do that? Okay, can I go ahead?
Yes, sir.
Okay. One thing is possibly this committee and making a motion to possibly look at future dates and moving ahead on possibly meeting on this and having a workshop. I think maybe making a motion is needed. And another thing is the Tech USA Prevent Alert Communication Badge. I'd like to see a vote to see if we're, as a board consensus, whether we want to move forward on this or not.
The only thing that might, we'd have to get approved first is we'd have to have the attorneys review the contract, which that shouldn't be an issue at all. But other than that, we could write the purchase order next week. I know, Mr. Williams, we've got some money in the safety lines that would cover that this year. Because that gives us the spring to experiment with it, and we can make a determination and roll it out to more schools or whatever next year. At least start at the high school and see how it goes.
Yeah, all I was wanting to do is just, make a motion to move forward, and then y'all can come back with some numbers for us.
Or perhaps could we make it contingent on Mr. McCarty's approval or his blessing on it?
So we would have to have contract approval.
Will you do that?
Well, you gotta renew it each year, so if we didn't like how it went, then we wouldn't have to do it the next year. Yeah, I mean, he offers a 3 or a 5, but the quote that he gave me was for a year. Like, most of it was like a little over $3,000 was getting the badges all set up. And the other $7,500 was the yearly subscription.
Will they prorate that?
Prorate that.
Well,
you mean
a year, are you doing a year now until next January in a contract, or is it a school year?
Well, we were looking originally at the school year when we started talking with these folks. So if we want to start it now, then it would end this time next year.
Okay. Is there opportunity there to prorate it and say, okay, we're only doing it until the end of this year? And if we're successful, then we'll continue through the whole year?
I don't know. I've not asked that question.
Because you're paying for I don't know, it just seems like if you wanted to just do it for the remainder of this year, prorate it out, and then make it start in August to July.
You would still have to purchase the badges, so you couldn't get away from that.
Right.
That's a question I can ask you.
Anything else?
Can I formally ask, Mr. Chair, if I can ask that this be added to the agenda, the Capital Projects Trust Resolution? And if the board so desires to approve it, and I'm sorry, it's kind of last minute, but it's gonna be in the Senate committee, I believe, next week, so, and if the board doesn't wanna take that on, I totally respect that.
I have no problem if anybody else, you all are the ones that decides this.
So I know it would benefit the school system. Missy, I know I'm putting you on the spot. So right now, who receives the interest off of our funds? The county?
From 151 debt service.
So we need to be prepared that
The county
somebody's
gets
gonna
the
lose
interest.
money.
They've made a lot of money on it.
But I think it's a great thing for the school system. I mean, I really do, because we need that money. We need the interest off our own money. So, but there's a downside to it for somebody, and it would be the county.
I do have some thoughts on that, and you might be able to correct me if they're wrong, but my thought is we do serve the same people, and ultimately is the county responsible to fund our capital projects ultimately, for the most part. And so my thought is it's just a way counties are going to be forced to earmark this. And I know maybe it won't be popular with counties, and I don't ever want to pick a fight with the county.
No.
I mean, I want to work with the county. I don't want to be at odds with them. However, I feel it would be wise for counties too, because, and this would be something voluntary across the state according to TSBA, how they've drawn this up, but it would be wise for counties because it would force them to earmark money. And maybe they aren't gonna like that, it's that more.
I'm bored 110%, because I'm not a county commissioner.
Well, let
I
me
just want
speak
the other
as-
side of it. There
Right.
is another side of it.
Let me speak on behalf of the whole county, which I represent, including you all. 151 represents everyone, including you all, because that is where we pay our debt. There is a debt right now that we are paying that is for the school system. So they do receive some part of this money. It's not like that money is just going to the county for the county to spend. It is going into debt service, which funds all divisions of the county, which the school is, to pay their debt. So I just want to make sure that that is clear and that everyone realizes that no one's getting more use of that money than anyone else, but all interest according to resolution does go into debt service.
And can you, and thank you so much for sharing that. And can you remind me, our debt, I know I saw our county debt a while back, a few years back, and I know it was Paulette, and then it was for the Johnson Controls that we had contracted with several years back. Is it, and I know now the new middle school is gonna be part of that, correct? Is that still what the county's debt is? Is it just pretty much for the school system?
The county has no debt.
Right.
Yes, it is only Johnson Controls, it's all the debt that you just mentioned, plus the new school bond. And right now, we have issued 2 of the 3 bonds that will be for the school system. We will be issuing the 3rd and final in March. And I will be, and if you're interested, I will be presenting the debt report at the county commission meeting with all of the debt listed, and I'll be happy to provide a copy for you.
Thank you. And do you by any chance know when those items would expire? When like Paulette and then the JCI and?
not right off my behalf,
Oh,
I'm sorry.
Thank you so much.
I will be happy to email that to you tomorrow, though.
Okay, thank you.
Missy, I have one question. I know as finance director, what do you recommend? Like this interest, should it stay in debt service or should it go to accrual? I mean, coming from your standpoint.
I feel like with the school growing and the county growing, I feel like debt service is the proper place for the interest. But that is my opinion as the finance director. I understand what you all are saying, and I understand that you all would like the money only to be used for you. But I do want to reiterate that right now, all that interest is being used for debt service, and that's for the school. So,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Okay, if everybody's done, we're gonna take a short recess.
You get it back, it goes to the payoff, it stays there, paying off. There's no control, because it's on. It's a difference between us and you. You write a check, but the money stays the same. The county is getting no benefit. Because it's your money. See, that's how it works here. Now, there's other counties that it might benefit us. But right now, we are the biggest debt in the county. We're gonna feed the biggest debt. Maybe like, we're just passing a resolution. Yeah, you'd have to pay somebody for this. Yeah. the county commission, I don't understand it, doesn't get a, no part of it. Where's that, Terry? That was a bigger
That's what I'm saying. Thank you, Missy.
Middle school, then it goes down. But it's the wrong size, so that's gonna be a thing. How much is that? That's what I'm supposed to do. Well, that's made it looks like it. You go get your you go get you some good high pressure hose. High pressure. It was like are you? Oh, no.
Yeah, thank you very much. Okay, I was saying Cobra kit car.
I'm leaving. I'm heading back.
It's good to see you.
Good to see you. Good to see you. How's your daughter? Getting ready. 2027 is the Paulette, and I'll get you the other one tomorrow. You're welcome. I had that one on my phone. Yeah, that one's, yeah, so it'll be. Is it 9? Okay. That one was the one I wasn't sure about. Paulette is paid off mid-year 2027. Okay. 5 more, okay. Well, I'm actually working on the debt report tomorrow, so I'll have all that on my desk. Yeah, I know that was 2027. You're welcome.
Do we need to actually approve that or just?
I think, ask Greg, I think it's just give our blessing. Because we can work behind the scenes on that. Hey, Greg. On that card deal, what needs to be approved is just to give the blessing.
We can prove it.
Yeah. And if it does good, then we can just move from there. Yeah, because I got the money, just no more money's being spent. Informative session.
Chip, we'll just let Greg take care of making those copies.
Okay, we didn't have any legal paper.
It's got all the treasures in it. So out there. She's already thrown all my stuff out.
That's when I come home and go. That's right. That's right.
But before we get started, I know Mr. Washington recalled this meeting to order. I would like to thank Mr. Chipper Brown over there. He's over there hiding like he doesn't hear me. He set up our streaming tonight with our little owl here that he stole from my office and brought down here. But he set that up for us so people can always stay tuned in and see what's going on with the board. So thank you, Mr. Chip.
Terry told me to do whatever it took.
Well, there was a board member come to me and said that they thought this would be a good idea.
Yeah.
And I agreed with them, and I talked to Greg, and then I talked to you and Jonathan, and I hope everybody enjoyed what we did. I mean,
I've already got some feedback from people. They're tickled to death with the sound. You're as loud on the internet as you are here.
okay. Mr. Charlie, will you lead us in pledge to the flag?
Yes, sir. Attention, salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing. Harold, will you lead us in prayer?
Our Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for each other. We ask that you touch each and every one of us through the Holy Spirit, Lord, that we do the right thing and we do things pleasing unto you. We thank you for each and every student that was represented tonight, Lord. We're so proud of them for what they've accomplished and being recognized before the Lord. We ask that you would bless each and every one of them. Bless your people. We ask that you be with all the teachers and all the students, keep them safe, keep them under your watchful care. We ask that you would be with the board and they, the decisions they have to make, they make them for your heart. And we ask that you would watch out over this guy and protect us. Forgive us community. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Call this meeting of the school board to order.
Make a motion to amend the agenda by adding the following items. Approve, disapprove the authorization for the acquisition of property for the egress and ingress for the new middle school. Approve, disapprove action on TEC USA.
I second that motion. So what we're waiting on.
You got one more, Mr.
Oh,
Carter.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. Also, to add approve or disapprove, planning committee.
I second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Can we go ahead and vote on what we added? What was the first one, Jessica? Okay, that's,
The first one was the authorization for the acquisition of property.
okay. We got a motion?
Make a motion.
Do I have a second? I'll second. All of them, just roll call vote.
Ms. Butler,
Four.
Dr. Carter,
I abstain.
Mr. Cox, Mr. Cook,
I'm sorry, I got it stunned.
Mr. Hammond.
May I ask a question? To clarify this, what we're voting on, is it for the Baylor property or Pine, or is it just Baylor?
Well, the resolution of what it we talked about in the executive committee was to go ahead and, make a motion for the,
Acquisition of concrete program.
So this time only,
This one is specifically, yes.
okay. 4.
Ms. Locke,
4.
Mr. Wash,
for,
motion carries.
the next one is, planning committee and the meeting. I need a motion.
I make a motion.
Do I got a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Greg, do we need to approve, go ahead and approve that, I need a motion to go ahead and pursue a contract with, the TEC USA?
I make a motion.
I got a second?
You okay with the contract? We need to amend, do you want to amend your motion? We need to amend your motion to add attorney review.
I amend my motion to add attorney review and approval by board consensus.
Do I got a second?
I'll second.
This is contract, do we need to do a roll call?
Ms. Buck,
4.
Dr. Carter,
I'm sorry, Dr. Nixon, can you repeat the motion? It got a little confusing.
okay, Charlie, what is your motion?
My motion is to go ahead and pursue the Tech USA and legal pending on the contract and the recommendation on, what was it we was talking about, the high school? Yes.
And you included, attorney review and approval, right?
Yes, yes, sir.
Does that help, Dr. Carter?
Not tremendously. When you say pursue, what are you saying? I don't know if you're saying, make a motion that we purchase the software pending a review of the contract, or you're saying we're pursuing it?
What my motion is to pursue, take action towards, like, we're taking action towards getting a contract and moving forward with it.
But we won't actually have the contract, correct? We're gonna ask for
Pending,
it.
pending review, yes, by Mr. McCarty.
No, I don't really understand the motion of pursue, but no.
Okay, Mr. Collins? Mr. Cooper?
I don't understand the, I don't understand the part about the attorney, why do you need him?
I think the concern might be, are we talking about go ahead and purchase it if the attorney looks at the contract and is fine with it? Or are we just talking about seeing what the contract would actually be?
Seeing what the contract would actually be,
But you're not.
not purchasing, but,
It's not in your motion to actually purchase it,
yeah,
just to pursue
just to pursue, taking action towards obtaining,
toward the purchase.
yes.
Okay.
Okay, I can be for that. I just didn't know if we were buying it or we were looking at buying it. I just didn't understand what the motion was.
I understand.
Thank you for clarifying, Dr. Manson.
It'll be fun typing that in the minutes, but I'll get it. Mr. Collins. Mr. Cook.
I'm for it, I like the idea.
Okay.
I'm for it.
Okay. Mr. Hamilton.
For,
Ms. Locke.
4.
and Mr. Washington.
For,
Motion carries.
need a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Approve or disapprove consent agenda for school trips and the board minutes from the regular meeting in November.
I make a motion to approve.
So I've got a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Approve or disapprove budget amendments and transfer. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Do I have a second? All in favor?
That's a roll call.
This is a roll call, excuse me.
I'm sorry, just
Reverse.
reverse.
Reverse roll call.
Oh, reverse roll call. Okay, I'm with you. That means you get to go first, Mr. Washington.
For,
Ms. Locke,
4.
Mr. Hamilton,
4.
Mr. Cook, Mr. Collins, Dr. Carter,
4.
and Ms. Buck.
4.
I'm sorry, Ms. Buck, I never could read sign language or lips either one.
okay, we don't have no items for surplus. Approve or disapprove contract. I've got none of those. Okay. Approve or disapprove teacher incentive plan. Have I got a motion?
I make a motion we approve.
Have I got a second? Second. Do we need a roll call on that one, Ron?
Your choice.
I second.
It does involve money, it's an incentive plan, so I would say yes.
Roll call vote.
Would you like it forward or reverse?
Don't matter to me.
Well, let's reverse again. Mr. Washington,
For,
Ms. Locke,
4.
Mr. Hamilton,
4.
Mr. Cook, Mr. Collins,
no.
Dr. Carter,
No.
and Ms. Buck.
4.
Motion carries.
Approve or disapprove coaches supplements. Have I got a motion?
Make a motion that we amend the supplement to, A, as presented by the Director of Schools for both band and cheerleading.
Have I got a second? Second.
Was that Mr. Cook?
No. Is
Oh,
that,
sorry.
This roll call too, Ron.
Mhm. Mr. Washington,
For,
Ms. Locke,
4.
Mr. Hamilton,
4.
Mr. Cook, Mr. Collins,
for,
Dr. Carter,
4.
and Ms. Buck.
4.
okay, approve or disapprove revision to board policy 1.1021, student board member.
I make a motion to approve the revision of board policy 11021, first and final reading.
We need to go back and whatever that policy is, Ronnie, I can't remember the number, but we've got to have a motion and a second on approving it on the first reading.
To approve on first reading.
Yeah, but there's a policy that, okay, never mind.
The policy exists and allows you to do that.
Right.
Mhm. No. No, the policy exists.
Okay, got a motion?
I second it.
Can I ask the chair a question? If I want to just propose an amendment, I'm too late, correct? To do a sunset, because she already had a motion. You know how that works? Pretty sure it's how it works. That's true.
I don't understand what you're asking.
If I was to try to propose an amendment to sunset, I can't do that at this point, correct?
I do not believe so.
Okay.
I think it would be. We have to act on the motion on the floor.
Can I withdraw my second? I would like to hear her concerns. I'll withdraw my second.
My only thought was that we had a few board members, so I was going to propose an amendment that we make a motion to propose an amendment to include a sunset. To allay the board's concern on that. That would have been that's my motion for an amendment.
Okay, so we have a motion on
We
the
have a
board.
motion on the floor.
Now we have a
You
second.
seconded and you withdrew your second.
Right, so
but
now
the
we have
motion's
two
still
motions on the board, on the floor. So do we vote on the first motion versus the second motion?
We will have to have a second on the motion that's on the floor.
You have to deal with the motion
We
on
have
the
two
floor.
motions. I will second Rebecca's motion.
But I don't think you can second it.
There's
You now have two motions on the floor.
I know.
But I don't think it's possible to have two motions on the
Okay.
floor at the same time.
No,
You
we'll have
deal
to
with the
vote
first
on-
motion.
So if the board desires to go with what Rebecca is proposing, they would have to,
Not second your motion.
correct, mine would have to fail.
And it could at this point because Dr. Carter withdrew his second.
Correct,
Mhm.
correct.
Do we have a second?
So you second Jessica's motion.
Well, the first motion has failed, then I did. Did the first motion fail due to a lack of a second?
We haven't determined that yet
We've not given it,
because you seconded it, withdrew it, if somebody else could second.
Mr. Chair, I cease discussion and I second the first motion that was presented on the floor.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. I hear that motion.
I made a motion to approve on the first and final reading, the revision of the school board policy 11021 for the student board representative.
So now that motion has, it's been made and seconded. So now we need to vote on that motion.
Let's do a roll call.
Okay. Mr. Marsh.
Or
Ms. Lott.
Or I apologize for the confusion I caused.
Mr. Hamilton.
Or
Mr. Cook. Mr. Collins.
No.
Dr. Carter.
No.
And Ms. Buck. Motion carries. Yeah, 4 yeses.
Okay. Item number 11, approve or disapprove on the second reading TSBA's recommendation. Change policy 6.319. Turn to education.
I make a motion to approve.
I got a second?
A second.
All in favor?
Or
Opposed? Motion carries. Approve or disapprove the COR for baseball and softball.
Make a motion, we approve.
We got a second? Second. This is money, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay, roll call.
Mr. Washington,
Four.
Ms. Lot,
Four.
Mr. Hamilton,
Four.
Mr. Cook, Mr. Collins, Dr. Carter,
Four.
and Ms. Bud.
Four.
Motion carried. Okay, the next regular board,
Number 13.
oh, I was looking at the wrong one, excuse me. Approve or disapprove board retreat led by TSBA.
I make a motion, we approve.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Is that a roll call?
It does cost if the SBA does it. Yeah, you probably need a roll call. Roll call. Mr. Washington,
Four.
Ms. Lot,
Four.
Mr. Hamilton,
Four.
Mr. Cook, Mr. Collins, Dr. Carter,
Four.
Ms. Bud.
Four.
Approve or disapprove the purchase of Beeler Holler Road property from Mr. Latham. Got a motion? Motion. I got a second?
Second.
That'd be roll call too, wouldn't it?
Mr. Washington,
Four.
Ms. Lot,
Four.
Mr. Hamilton,
Four.
Mr. Cook, Mr. Collins, Dr. Carter,
Four.
and Ms. Bud.
Four.
Okay, the next regular workshop and meeting of the Union County Board of Education will be held on Thursday, February the 12th. I don't have to have a motion on that one, do I?
No.
Do I have a motion to adjourn? I got a second.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed?
Watch this.
Missy, you can bring this to you tomorrow.
Go to the school's Facebook